Alright guys, we are looking at trying to fix the overhead light that is not functioning correctly in this Nissan. I verified that there was power going to it and that the ground works just fine, but the light just doesn't want to come on. Since this all seems to work fine, it's clear that the switch itself wasn't making a good connection, so I'm going to see if I can clean that up. I took the switch off here. It's just the plastic head, little button here. I just pulled this straight off, and this sits underneath there. That's where I pulled the button off. And then what sits in here then in this hole is a spring, and that guy right there. And I'm gonna see if I can sand this a little bit and clean it up and make a better connection. Alright, so I've cleaned this up. I actually dropped it in the rocks, in the gravel, and I was afraid I wouldn't find it. Prayed to God that he would help me find it, and he did. Found it right after the prayer, so that was awesome. It looks like, so yeah, God is good, and prayer works. It looks like this is brass or bronze. Not bronze, brass or copper or something, but it cleaned right up with a little sanding block. Didn't have to sand very long or very hard. I just kind of rubbed it a little bit and it came out to be real clean surface. So we're gonna reassemble this and put it back on and see if it works. All right, so here's the moment of truth. I put the screws back in. This is one that should be ground. Put this all back in, so it should come on when I put this to on. And it did not. So wah wah. Put it on door. I'll open the door. Wah wah. This and the screw. And as you can see, I'm getting 12.8 volts. So it's getting power. It just doesn't want to come on. Grr. Alright, so I had the thought. I had cleaned the connector that's on the switch itself on these contacts, but I didn't clean the contacts. So I'm going to take this back off and see if I can get in there and do that. They almost look like plastic. They're so corroded. There's no wonder why it's not making a connection. I'm going to see if I can clean those up. Okay. So I got in there and got those cleaned up as best as I could. I used a little piece of sand. It was actually off a sand sponge, like a little handheld sanding sponge block, and a pair of tweezers, and was sitting there rubbing it on there. And it looks like it did a decent job. So I'm going to see if this works. I got the switch back in. It's a little stiffer than it was before, and when I say little, I mean it's pretty stiff. But yeah, you can see there how it's making the connection. That's against a piece of plastic, because this is in the off position, so it's on plastic, and then the door switch, which is this door. And then in the door position, it connects the door to the hot, which makes the light come on. Only if the door switch is in the open position, which means the door is open. No, sorry, door switch is in the closed position, which means the door is open. And then in the on position, it should be pressing against both the hot there in the middle and the ground here. So it should be grounding out and sending power to the light bulb. Alright, so I got it back installed. As you can see, it's in the on position and it is not on. So I once again used my multimeter to check across here, and there's no power. So I'm like, what's going on? Now you can see here that my map lights aren't working either. So I think I've blown here. Yep. Whoop. That's working. Now that's working. What? That still doesn't want to work. And what is going on here? I'll leave this in the off position for now. It still works. I'm gonna check for power again. All right, so I took my LED bulb out because I tried with this little wire that I made. I connected it across and it still wasn't working, and I'm like, there's no way. That defies all logic. So then I was like, well, now maybe there's something with my LED bulb. And apparently there was. And I'm looking at it now, and on the inside, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it looks a little burnt. So that's garbage. So I put a regular light bulb in it, and as you can see, it works just fine now. So that's on and then door. So with the door closed, it stays on. I wonder how long.
2 hours later.
There it goes. Sweet. Love it. All right, and then with the door open. Awesome. Fixed it. So the contacts just needed cleaned. And then, because I did try this bulb first and wasn't having any success. So it wasn't just the LED. The contacts definitely needed cleaned. But yeah, it seems to work just fine now. So I'm happy with that. Looks like the door position is a little touchy, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. All right, thanks guys. Hope this helps someone.